Hi, everybody. Josh Luzo from Sunburn Encounters. It's my personal conviction that prayer is the church's secret weapon that's hidden in plain sight. Telling somebody to pray is on the same level as telling somebody to love God. It's like it's seemingly obvious, but unfortunately, there's so many of us that don't understand prayer. It's like this cliche term, and I just want to get into that right now. Most people don't know how to pray. I've been hearing consistently over and over again, even just, I'll say last night, hear testimony after testimony of people that don't hear from God, or they're looking for more. They don't understand what's going on in their spiritual life. And I believe this is from disappointment and from a lack of revelation on prayer. I believe that the lack of revelation on prayer will definitely affect your prayer life, just like a lack of marriage, just like a lack of revelation on marriage will affect your marriage. A lack of revelation on fatherhood and motherhood will affect your parenting. The lack of revelation on prayer will affect your prayer life, obviously. Your lack of revelation on prayer will affect your relationship with God. A lot of times we don't pray because it's boring, or because we think we've got something better to do. You do not have anything better to do than to spend your time with Jesus. You do not. The everydayness of life creeps in and convinces us that prayer is a waste of time, and we don't realize that prayer is more than just verbal ranting, a laundry list of things that you need from God. It's actually an all-encompassing lifestyle. It's more than just a verbal thing. That's kind of selfish, actually. It's all about me, and that's a very low and false view of prayer. My friend KT said something very interesting around when I first met her. She said that she learned this at YWAM. She says, time equals relationship. I love that so much. I agree with that so much. And the Lord, through that, spoke to me and said that prayer equals relationship. Because prayer is time spent with God. Prayer, at the core, is fellowship with God. You have to spend time with the one that you love. And I just want to expand on the different aspects of prayer and our relationship with God. Each one of the things I'm going to talk about you need to spend time and meditate on each one of these things. It's not just a 10-minute video. You have to spend your days on this. This will take eternity to search out. I can't give it to you right now. I'm just going to touch. I'm just going to touch on a few things. The Lord told me, He's saying to me about this. He's saying to me very subtly and quietly in the secret place. He said, remember Mary Poppins, these are a few of my favorite things. And He gave me a list of some of His favorite things. Like I said, they're virtuous characteristics. You can't just talk about them in 10 minutes. You start off in Matthew, where He says, ask, seek, and knock. Start right there. Asking. Asking is verbal communication. It's vital to any relationship that you want to sustain. People have said in the past that prayer is talking to God. I don't buy that. Talk is cheap. Prayer is much more than just talking to God. I'm not against talking to God. That's why it's first on the list. I want to stress that. But this goes against popular suggestions, contrary, because it's not just that. There's a lot more to it. But in the talking aspect, it includes verbally speaking. That's important. The enemy's trying to shut you up, try to say, don't pray, don't bother speaking, whatever. That's not true. He wants you to speak. The Lord wants you to speak to Him. It's vital for communication. And also, you can write too. So many revivalists from the past have wrote out their prayers. It's beautiful. I love reading them. I'm so touched. David King David, another great example. So writing, don't despise writing. It's a legitimate prayer. Knocking. So many Christians have thrown in the towel when it comes to perseverance in prayer. I have too, don't worry. I think everybody has felt fatigue in endurance in prayer. But this kind of persistence, the constant knocking on his door, it touches the Lord's heart in such a way that when he sees one of his children consistently going after him, and they're not looking for these shallow, quick fix spiritually or anything like that, but when he sees that you're interested in him and that you'll keep going and that you're committed and your faith is sincere, he truly will give you good gifts, and he will reveal his mysteries of himself, the deep things of God. Call to me, Jeremiah 33:3. There's other verses. There's so many verses. Seeking. This is one of the most important aspects of prayer. It's one of my favorites. It's like a combination of the first two I said. In your seeking, you're to ask. You're asking the Lord on a consistent basis. That's what seeking is. Diligently seeking, Hebrews 11:6 says. You're diligently seeking. You're asking on a consistent basis. That's the signs of someone who's interested in God. You're asking him to reveal the depths and mysteries. I used to hate seeking. Personally, I used to hate it. I don't know. It might have been because I was young and naive, probably. But I think it's mainly because I was not patient, immature in love. Patience. You have to have patience in order to seek the Lord. I wanted answers from God, and I want them now. That's fast food spirituality. It's not God. He's very into seek. He's very into search me out. He's very into patience and perseverance and looking. It's deep things. It's mysterious. And I love it now. Another part of seeking I really like is the trying to do what is pleasing to the Lord. You're searching at how you can please God. You're seeking, you're searching. What can I do to please him? Ephesians 5:10. A lesser important aspect, but it's actually very important, I put it here for a reason, is physical relocation. The Lord has constantly, throughout the Bible, and he really is saying this right now, that you need to seclude yourself to a secret place. Jesus says in Matthew 6, he says, go into the inner rooms and pray to your Father who's in secret. He's in secret. The Father is in secret. There's something special about going physically somewhere else to be alone with God. Jesus went to the mountain by himself. Moses encountered the Lord on the mountain by himself. The Lord told Elijah, hide yourself by the brook. Hide yourself alone, seclusion. It's not good to always be alone, but that's very important. There's people say, I don't have time to be alone, or I can't get alone with God. Maybe, but there's a cop-out a lot of times. Unless you're in jail with jailmates and you physically cannot be alone, you probably can. I've made so many excuses concerning that. The next three are the most important aspects, I believe. Actually, I don't just believe, it's pretty biblical. But I can't go into depth in them in a 10-minute video. Like I said, they take eternity to search out. Faith is the next one. Faith, like I said before, Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. And continue that verse. It says, he rewards those who diligently seek him. I'm not going to get into Hebrews 11, but I strongly suggest you meditate on Hebrews 11 and you consistently read it and get faith in your heart. You need to get it. It's so important to God. I can't stress that enough. Righteousness. Okay. Righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. So it's needless to say that righteousness is extremely important to God. It says in James, it says, the effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. It accomplishes much. Your righteous living is pleasing to God. The Lord delights to see you living righteously, living out justice. He says, seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Walk humbly. He loves when you look just like Jesus. He loves when you live in a righteous manner. He loves you before that, but he loves to see that. Which brings to the last one is humility. Humility, humility, humility. This goes beyond words, humility. It's like the heart. David says, a broken and contrite heart, O Lord, you do not despise. He loves contrite heart. This is where the believer and the non-believer alike can relate to one another, because this is where it starts. It starts in the heart. It starts with humility. This is one of the most beautiful characteristics of Jesus. He was the humble one. It says in Philippians, he says he humbled himself and became a bondslave and considered his equality with God not a thing to be grasped. He laid it aside, and then he was exalted. The Lord's looking for you to humble yourself before him, and he will lift you up. He will exalt you, because he was exalted in the same way, and we're seated right there with him when we live out these characteristics in prayer. Bless you guys. Love you so much.